my goodness, I didn't know how many people would show up today because you're all getting ready for school in those classrooms and all that. So thank you so much for coming. And let me just say, good afternoon, Virginia. Good morning, Virginia. I'm Gwen Walz, and I'm so proud to be an educator for Harris. Yeah. Thank you so much to our special guests here today, the fabulous Senator Tim Kaine. Yes, right? Secretary Ann Holton. Yes. And Rep. Jennifer Wexton. Thank you. And I also want to recognize our two presidents who are here, Randy Weingarten and Becky Pringle. Thank you. And thank you for being my first solo event, right? I'll tell you what, I'll start any day with the teachers. So you all might have some feedback for me, right? So make sure you get that to us so I can get better as I go along. Next time I come back to Virginia, you all see my improvement, okay? Yeah. It is such a joy to be with you. So thank you for having me, and thank you for inviting me to come here first. And this is my favorite time of the year. It is back to school, right? Yes. As any educator knows, maybe, I bet you all have felt this. I have been wandering around the school supply sections of like Target and, all of those places. It is like a gravitational pull, right? Pens, pencils, folders, notebooks, right? Because you feel it in your very bones. We passed a Target on the way here, and I'm like, I wonder if they have those colored pencils I'm looking for, right? And that is a big part of this time of year because we feel it. We feel it in our bones and in ourselves. And I just have to ask you, so are you all having your first day of school dream yet? Yeah? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. It's that thing. Almost every teacher has it. Yep. Any of you wake up late? Is that anybody a dream? No? Okay. I'm interested in those back to school dreams because I still have them even though I'm not in the classroom this year, and they're a little bit ongoing because I never have that first day, or I'm not having that first day in the classroom. But that's a big deal because it's part of who we are. It's part of how we think. And nothing beats a brand new school year, right? Nothing beats it. I bet you in your rooms and your classrooms and your schools, maybe your chalkboard. Anybody still have a chalkboard here? No, y'all? Okay, some people do. Most people have whiteboards, smart boards, right? But those things are clean right now, right? Not even all those paper towels or your, those old cloths that we use. Even those are clean right now. And they're soon to be filled, right, with learners, right, and lessons. And I bet laughter, right? There is a sense of the unlimited possibility in the air that happens at the beginning of every single school year. And I just feel a little bit jealous today because you all get to have that first day in that classroom and that beginning, and I'm going to miss that in a traditional way this year. So you have to tell me your stories, your dreams, and how that all feels so that I can kind of experience that vicariously. Now, I have two sisters, but there are three of us. I have two sisters who are teachers. My parents are retired teachers. Tim's dad, as you know, was a superintendent. Tim has three brothers and sisters. They're all teachers. Yeah, most of them are married to teachers. That's a whole bunch of teachers, but you can never have too many. So you have to promise to share with me. And that's a little bit how I feel about this election season that's starting right now. It sort of feels like that beginning of the school year, that hopefulness, right? That energy, that anything is possible, right? Through hard work, of course. We're feeling that joy and we're feeling that hope. And we are ready for that fresh start. We are ready for a new way forward, right? Yeah. Have you seen that on that bus? Yes, it's beautiful. It is beautiful. And that is a new way forward to a future every single one of our sons, daughters, friends, neighbors, communities, everybody deserves that, right? Yes, that's right. And it is going to take us all together to build that, right? All of us together to build that. And that's the future Vice President Harris and my husband, Tim Walz, are fighting for. You're going to join us, right? Yes. Now, some of you may have seen that convention last week, right? Yes? So you probably know a little bit about that fabulous Kamala, and you might know a little bit about my husband, Tim, too. But I wanted to take some time to introduce myself just a little bit. So if you'll just hang with me here. Like all of you, I wear a lot of different hats. You know what that feels like. Or in my case, I like to say I wear a lot of different shoes, right? Y'all, I'm checking it out. We have a pretty good shoe game right up here. Look at this. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm a mom. I'm a sister. I'm a friend. I'm a retired military spouse. I currently am the First Lady of Minnesota, which is a huge honor for me, being a Minnesota gal. I only left for a short time to go to Nebraska. But for so much of my life, and how I define myself is, I'm a teacher. Yeah. Teaching is a career that I chose. But Tim and I often say it like this. Teaching, of course, is what we do. But more importantly, it's who we are. We are teachers. Yep. And that's how we first met. We were both teaching in Nebraska. And in a high school. And like all of our students were kind of there right along with us. You know how that goes. Right? And he taught social studies, and I taught English. We even shared a classroom. We were in a school district that was short on space, short on money. So they took the old choir room and put this divider right down the middle. Any of you taught in rooms like that? Yeah, you know. But you might even be this year, right? And that divider was pretty thin. And I have to say that his class was a little louder than mine. But I knew right away that we both believed that education could be transformative. You know those teachers that believe that. And it's almost all of us, right? And so I want to tell you a little story of how that worked for Tim and I firsthand. And it's a story about a student named Waylon. And Waylon was on the football team, and he was in my English class that year. And he was brilliant on the football field. And he was difficult in class. You know, right? What we didn't know, or what I know when the school year started, was that Waylon was reading way below grade level. And his acting out was really Waylon's attempt to try to hide that from his peers and also from me. And the school had this rule at that time that if a student was failing a core class like English, then they couldn't play or be in extracurricular activities. Now that never made a lot of sense to me because that kid, Waylon, was coming to school because he could play football, so we're gonna take football away and think like school's gonna work out. But you know, I get it that you have to do the schoolwork also. But those are complicated discussions that educators can have, and I want you to know, Tim and I understand those conversations. So I got Coach Walz and huddled up and I said, we need a plan. If Waylon will come in for tutoring, let's use that as the metric. And let's keep him playing football, and let's get him to learn to read. And Waylon agreed. And he worked hard. And his reading began to improve. We did it before school, lunch hour, after school, whenever we could find time. And Tim came across that classroom, across that divide, and he cheered him on And he read books with him, and he suggested books. And you know what? When that semester or when the football season ended, Waylon kept right on reading. We never talked about it. He kept right on reading. And Waylon graduated from high school. And he had a shot to succeed. He had a chance. And that is the most important thing we can give a child. As teachers, we believe, we know that everyone deserves a chance to get ahead. Every single one, every single person. Yeah, and that's a vision. It's a vision we have. It is a vision Tim Walz shares, and it is a vision that VP Harris shares. And together, they will build that opportunity and that opportunity economy. One where everyone who works hard can have the chance to succeed. And one that lifts up hard-working, middle-class families like our own, right? Yeah. It's important. It's important. But I have to say this. Trump and Vance see it differently. Their Project 2025 devastates students. Yep. I mean, really, they are taking public school funding, and that is a remarkably devastating statement to put out there. And they are also telling parents what books they can read and telling us what books they can read. Those two. Those two. I mean, seriously? Last time I checked, there was no degree in curriculum and development, no educational degree there, right? They will rig the economy for the rich, and they will cut their taxes, and they will gut our Social Security. And they're coming for our reproductive freedom too, right? Now, I read that J.D. Vance said he was really disturbed by teachers who don't have biological children. Well, really? Well, for a long time, Tim and I were teachers who struggled with infertility. And we were only able to start a family because of fertility treatments. So this is really personal for me. And I think it is for millions of Americans. We do not take kindly to folks like J.D. Vance telling us when or how to start our families. So let me use my teacher voice. English teachers, you know what these babies are for. Okay, here's my Mr. Vance. How about you mind your own business? Okay, you don't have to put your glasses on, but try with me in your teacher voice. Mr. Vance, how about you mind your own business? Yes. And we certainly won't stand for Donald Trump trying to rewrite his record on reproductive health care. He tried that yesterday. Teachers, you can smell that a mile away, can't you? Yes. And in the classroom, we believe in telling the truth, right? So here are the facts, and there aren't any alternatives to these. Donald Trump is the one who took down Roe and put access to IVF at risk. That's a fact. And he's running on a platform that puts these treatments at risk nationwide, and that's a fact. But he knows that that position is wildly unpopular And guess what? That's a fact. So now he is trying to convince us that he won't follow through on it if he wins. Well, we won't let him get away with it, right? And that's a fact. So no matter how many false promises they make, we know that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance simply cannot be trusted. Mm-hmm. They can't. That's a fact. Thank you. Not on IVF, not on reproductive freedoms for that matter. And like the Vice President says, we are not going back. Right? Say it with me. We are not going back. One more time in your best teacher voice. We are not going back. Right? So the school year is just getting started, but we only have 67 days until Election Day. And that is not long, as teachers know better than anyone. Right? 67 days of homework or things to correct, papers to grade, lunchtimes to monitor, like 67 days, not much. Or in other words, 67 days is like nothing to teachers, right? Yes, right? It is fast. And we need to make the most of every single minute, because teachers also know how to do that, right? That's a fact, right? I'm going to add that in. You guys are, see, I asked for your help and I got it. Yeah. You are the best. You are the best. Help me already. There we go. So my mom is a retired teacher. And yeah, right. And she retired. My mom's a retired PE teacher. Right? So you don't know my mom, but you know my mom. Right? Yeah. And she always said this to me. Growing up, she still says it to me. Gwen, do the work that's in front of you. Now, when I was growing up, I thought that meant the dishes, right? Or something like that. But as she continued to say it, and I began to think about it, I knew that it was advice that was both thoughtful, but also actionable. And I knew that meant something about the work I should do, the service I should provide, the way I should see my life, and all of that around me. It was my teacher view. It is my teacher view, built on listening and sharing, understanding, and community. So I'm asking you if you'll also listen to my mom and to do this work that's in front of us, and to join me in doing that work, and to join Doug and Tim and Kamala and your senators and your congresspeople and these great representatives up here in doing this work in front of us. Let's volunteer. I know those school days are long, and the last thing that you have time to do is to go in for a phone shift or a door knock or whatever it is, but I'm asking you to do that because everything depends on it. I'm asking you to bring friends, yeah, and even people who are becoming your new friends. Anyone you can find, right? Right? I'm asking you on your small salaries to make any donation that you can. Because when we do that, we have more skin in the game, right? Yeah, we do. And every single, you know this at schools, every single dollar counts, right? And we're all doing this together. Do you know what bars are that you eat? Not bars you go to, but like bars you eat? Bars? Yeah, in Minnesota we call them like lemon bars and 7-layer bars, and this is a big thing in Minnesota. So I'm saying, okay, maybe you just bake bars for the people who are making phone calls if you don't have time to make those phone calls that week, and bring them to the center, right? And then next time you make calls. Or maybe you make bars for the people who are doing the door knocks, right? And then next time you do that. I am saying find something to do. Teachers are really, really, really good at this. And can you do it? Can you do that work that is in front of us, with us? Yes? Yes. Thank you for all being so kind and patient with me as I get my footing here. I wanted to start with teachers and educators, and I thought Virginia would be a great place to start. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. And tell the governor this. Seems like in most cases I was right again. Together, you and I and Kamala and Tim and all of us here, friends and neighbors, we are going to build a future. We are building a future for all of our children, all of our friends, all of our neighbors, each and every one of us in a place that we can be proud of. Thank you so much, teachers. Thank you so much, Virginia. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Forgive me, I've been running blind in truth. I'ma rain on this bitter love. Tell the sweet I'm nude. I'm telling these tears, go and follow